let me tell you something. They are obviously walking around tight as a drum. Six-pack abs, small little waist. They look really, really nice. They do. Tight t-shirt, looks fantastic on them. Looks like they have a very nice physique. But whoa boy, when you show pictures of what they used to look like prior to intermittent fasting, you're talking about literally muscular behemoths compared to what they look like now. Looks like they've, to me, in my eyes, looks like they've burned off anywhere from 20 to 50 pounds of lean muscle tissue. I'm exaggerating, but let me just say anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds of muscle. They've just burned it off along the way. And they're much smaller than they were before. Now, that could be either one of two things. It's either from the intermittent fasting, or it's because they weren't natural before, and they were using some steroids or growth hormone, whatever they were using, insulin, as a bodybuilder. They usually pull up pictures of themselves when they were bodybuilders. And then now they're no longer a bodybuilder. They're no longer a competitive bodybuilder. And they don't even look the part. They look like fit individuals, which is fantastic. And I praise that they look the way they do. I actually do. But don't go telling me that you're gaining lean muscle mass when you used to have muscle mass and now you don't. Don't go telling me that you're putting on muscle mass when you're showing a picture of yourself on stage as a bodybuilder or in the gym training with huge muscle, and now you don't have that same amount of lean muscle mass that you had before. It's obvious, okay, that you don't. So let's see the reality right there, all right? So that's it. If you want lean muscle mass, it's not going to be the best way to go, okay? And here's the other one. Big point right here. I have clients, plenty over the years, who have tried to use intermittent fasting. The problem is they didn't have willpower, the willpower to keep doing the intermittent fasting, to not eat for 16 hours a day. They didn't have that kind of willpower. So what makes them think, and what makes you think that if you don't have the willpower now to go on a nice clean diet, a caloric restricted diet, I don't know, maybe even a carbohydrate cyclical diet, maybe a calorie cycling diet, if you don't have the willpower to do any one of those, what makes you think you're going to go, this is just a make sense moment right here, what makes you think you're going to go and intermittently fast for 16 hours and then suddenly have just a little window and you're not going to overdo it during that 8-hour window? Well, the fact is you're not. Let's be honest. If you don't have the willpower, you need to change a whole bunch of habits prior to ever attempting something as extreme. Intermittent fasting, yes, I'm saying it, is extreme. Not eating any food for 16 hours and then eating food for 8 hours is extreme. So if you're of the extreme personality type, I can see you doing it just fine. A lot of bodybuilders I've known over the years can do intermittent fasting just fine. I can do intermittent fasting just fine. I've lived at an extreme level. A lot of my friends, a lot of people that I've known throughout the years in the gym have lived at an extreme level and could do very, very well with an intermittent fasting. However, they also do very, very well, and so do I, with a simple caloric reduction, a simple caloric cycle diet, a simple carbohydrate cycle diet. Any one of those. We do well with all of them because we stick to it, because we have that commitment level. Recently, I was on Rick Drayson's show. You can find him on YouTube. Great show, by the way, very informative. And while we were on the show, I was talking about getting in shape for the spring and for the summer here in Southern California. It's a great time of year. It's very motivating. And getting in that kind of shape, getting ripped. I was talking about getting ripped over 50. At least I'm 54, right? It's a great time of year. The weather's nice. You're showing more skin. It's motivating. You see the changes in your body. And Rick's big response, as he's shaking his head right next to me, is he waits for me to finish, then he says, now you know, most people aren't going to do it. Because they're not like us. Because they don't care that it's the springtime and they want to look better. It's not as important to them. It's not a priority for them. And I don't really think too much about that because I usually have clients who are very interested in what look like and what they want to look like. I have people come to me for help who are interested in those things, but that also doesn't mean that there are not a lot of you watching this right now who it's not a top priority for you. And the fact is, when the rubber meets the road, when the stress really hits, when you're that hungry during that 16-hour period, and you're at an event and they have your favorite foods there, the likelihood of you falling off that intermittent plan is going to be very, very high. And now you've just blown it for that day. So I've seen it time and time again with clients. The recidivism, people just fall off. They do it for a short period of time and then they fall off. Or they can make it through the 16 hours, but man, that 8-hour period, they gorge, and they take in way more than their maintenance levels of calories. Way more. They surpass their normal levels, or they eat a ton of junk food thinking they can afford to. They can do it because they didn't eat for 16 hours. That I've seen happen time and time again. So the reality, I'm taking you down road reality over here, right? Because everybody speaks about just strictly the positives, and there are many positives to intermittent fasting. I don't want to leave you with a bad taste in your mouth here. I do want to get back to who should do intermittent fasting. Who would it be really, really good for? Well, I believe that certain populations, the morbidly obese, just simply the obese. If you're obese, obese is considered anything over 25 pounds above 25 pounds of body fat, excess, okay? Anything above 25 pounds is considered obese. Anything past 50 pounds of excess body fat on your body means you are officially morbidly obese. Now, if that's the case, yeah, those are the numbers. If that's the case, then those populations that are that heavy and have that much stored body fat, boy, if you're motivated, you got to be motivated. If you're motivated to make a change, I think intermittent fasting is one of the best things you could do for yourselves. Go 16 hours without eating. Commit to just having 2 solid meals over the course of the 8-hour eating phase. Maybe 2 and a snack. Eat clean during that 8-hour phase of eating. Have lean proteins. Have plenty of vegetables. Have grass-fed meats. Have clean foods in your plan for that 8-hour period. Healthy foods. Doctor supervised. Get a doctor to supervise what you're doing. And you'll find you'll drop loads of body fat. You'll feel healthy. You'll have good energy. You'll be fine. That's one group right there. The obese and the morbidly obese. Another group that I believe would benefit from intermittent fasting. You've already acquired as much lean muscle mass as you want. If that's the case, and you want to get leaner, you want to get more ripped, and you want to maintain this for a decent amount of time, you want to live the lifestyle for a decent amount of time, anywhere from 3 to 6 months, then that population, again, would benefit from such a plan. Why do I say this? Because this same population has some stick-to-itiveness about them. The word commit doesn't faze them. The ability to stick to their eating plan, no matter what happens, no matter what the event is they go to, the family function, the pressures from their families. If you fall in that category right there, and you want to get in great shape, and you want to try something new, again, I'd recommend still you notify your physician that you want to try this out. That's always the best. But even if you chose to go it alone and do it, let your family know. And you're not, by the way, the type of individual who has crashes from low blood sugar. As long as you can maintain your blood sugar levels fairly evenly, and even if you were to have some caffeine, some coffee, some green tea, that's very, very popular with people who do intermittent fasting. It satiates the hunger for a while, but caffeine will play games with your blood sugar levels. So some people are more sensitive to that. Excuse me. Some people are more sensitive to that. And if you are one of those people, then I don't recommend that you do intermittent fasting. Because the tendency for a lot of people who do the intermittent fasting is they will go and they will have some iced green tea, iced coffee, or regular green tea. And it does help to burn more calories, but it will, in some people's case that are very sensitive to it, it will mess around with their blood sugar levels. And you don't want to mess around too much with your blood sugar levels. They're already going to be low enough through the fasting phase of that intermittent fast. So these are my thoughts on intermittent fasting. Okay, I hope this was helpful for you today. Again, I welcome every one of your comments down below. Feel free to comment. I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on it. I'd love to see, hey, if you got any pictures, that would be great, before and after pictures. It's motivating to see such things. But listen, before you go, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you like some of the subject matter I've been speaking about, please, on your right-hand side, you got the red subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that. And on the left, you have that thumbs up over there. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. That's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart, talking about intermittent fasting.
Please hit that subscribe button before you leave, and feel free to comment on this video or leave a comment with any of your suggestions on any future videos that you would like to see me do on any particular subject matter having to do with fitness, diet, and health. Thank you.